On today's show, we have some special guests, comedians Alex Ansoleaga and Ari Mannis. And we welcome our new host, Jessica Flores. It's all happening here on the Zoo. We are here on the Zoo. I'm here with Nikki Paris and our new host, part of the new rotation, Jessica Flores.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
What's up, what's up, what's up? Jessica, we're so happy. Yeah, she's definitely fierce.
Oh my gosh.
You got the voice, you got like the, I tell her she's 26. I go, you got your together for 26.
Yeah,
Where do you get
think
that?
so?
Yeah.
I feel like I don't, but then again, I stay like comparing myself to people all the time, so I'm just like, gotta work
I love that, like, I'm 27 and I could be your older sister. Just judging by the trauma on my face.
That's funny.
You look great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh my gosh.
So where do you get that?
We're trying.
Where do you get that chutzpah?
My dad, for sure. He's from Jalpa, Zacatecas, born and raised on a ranch. He would take me to Mexico when I was like 6 years old to go hike like 20, I'm not even kidding, like 20-mile hikes. And he'd put like rocks in my backpack and weights. He wanted me to be like this soccer player, so I ended up being an athlete and
You got an East Coast thing going on too.
You think so?
Yeah, because I'm from Miami.
That, like,
he's from New York, and you could totally fit in Miami or New York, right?
That's crazy because I've been around people from the East Coast and I'm like, wow, their energy is like
You have that energy.
So, really?
Yeah, you do.
But you also got the style. You got like that flavor thing.
Okay.
That, that's a little bit. Have you been to New York?
I've been to New York once. I used to work out of Miami here and there.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But I'm very like. I'm Mexican Colombian, so when I go to Miami, I very much connect with my Colombian roots. And when I go to Mexico, or when I go to LA, it's very like, it's very Chicano out here.
Right.
So,
I like it. So now we're gonna get to today's big deal.
Okay.
All right. And today is gonna be mental health. All right, Jessica, I know what I do for my mental health, but I want to hear what you do for your mental health because when we auditioned you for the show, you had some really cool things to say and actually stuff that I hadn't heard before.
Okay.
So tell me how you keep, the mind, the emotion, your relationship healthy.
Yeah, I mean, especially now with quarantine and everything going, I feel like we are all going crazy in our own way, whether you're living alone, whether you're living with your family, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your roommate, so for me, it's all about, first off, I need to love where I live. So I have like hella plants. I need there to be lights. I invested in those like mood lights and stuff like that, just so that when I'm there, since I'm there all the time, I love my space. I'm not like, there's not like clutter and stuff. So that's my number one thing that I'm doing for mental health. And the other one is we're always scrolling on Instagram. Like our screen time is up like 80% or something crazy. So I have muted people that I'm just like, you know what, you're toxic. I don't like what you're posting. You don't make me feel good about myself. I either unfollow or mute people because you're consuming that all the time and that'll really mess with you.
Now, you've also said the thing about, is it FOMO?
FOMO.
So people that give you FOMO, you also mute. Like if it's too much, like I'm here, I'm there, and then it's making you feel like, you're like,
So you don't have to see it if you're not included.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, there's something really inspiring about seeing somebody who's super adventurous and stuff, but I also need the real stuff. Like, I need to know you're human and you're going through your stuff, whether it's like, I mean, I don't need you to get too personal because social media is however you want to express it, but it just doesn't work for me if all it is like sunshine and rainbows and daisies. Like, I don't know, it's not gonna make me feel good because I'm gonna be at home like struggling with my own stuff. And like
some of these people, everything's sunshine and rainbows. We know you in person.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, it's a thunderstorm in person. Like, dare I say tsunami.
That's hilarious.
That part. No,
what are some of the kind of personal things that you've put on, though, that you've shared thinking, look, let me share with people like what I'm going through because it's going to help them with what they're going through?
Yeah, especially on quarantine, like just to be completely straight up, I had like a night radio show here in LA on a reggaeton station, and because of COVID, like I lost my job, and it's something that I had worked for so hard. I was only on air for 2.5 months. I mean, it was taking off, and then all of a sudden, unfortunately, so many companies have had to make difficult decisions, and I told everybody what it was. Like, I was super straight up, like, you know what, and I was like pretty much bawling on camera, y'all. Like, I was not holding back because just like they see my highs, they need to see también que yo también sufro. Like, we all go through our stuff,
Hell yeah.
What about you?
I'm actually very guarded on social media, to be honest with you.
Are you? Okay.
Like, I mean, the thing is that, like, in person, I'm really...
You're so open.
I am very open. But sometimes on social media, like I used to be, when I was, younger and it first started, I would put some passionate stuff out, like on Facebook, maybe something political, maybe something like, like a hot take. And then I'm getting texts from friends who want to get in an argument with me. It's like, I don't want to invite this into my personal life. I'm in the middle of something else. Just because I posted some point of view, now I don't want to open myself up to argue with everybody that, and they're not doing it because they want to fight with me. But like sometimes it's like, what do I want to open myself up to? Now, in person, I can go wherever, if somebody wants to talk to me about something, I'm very open. And I'm a writer as well, so like when I write an article, I can put something. But I think when it comes to posting stuff, sometimes I'll post like a really personal moment, like on a story or an Instagram, and then I take it down because I'm like, oh man, that's too much.
It like makes you cringe when you look back at it?
No, that makes me
sometimes?
cringe. Just like, okay, like one time I posted like my, luckily I work in a really cool place and they're very understanding.
Yeah.
But like one time I posted myself just kind of swinging on a swing set, like tripping on mushrooms. And I'm just like, and then you hear my friend in the back going, "Have the mushrooms hit you yet?" And I just laugh.
Oh my
And
God.
so I posted it, and then
You posted it while you were on mushrooms.
yeah,
and you look
and then
back
like an
you're
hour
"Wait a minute."
later, then I'm bad tripping, and I'm like, oh my God, and then I'm taking it down.
I want those mushrooms because when I've done mushrooms, I can't stand, let alone be on a swing. So.
Let alone
got you.
post.
Yeah, really.
I got
No, but
you.
I feel what you're saying too because I feel like sometimes if I post things that are too vulnerable, I feel like I'm being judged. And you know what? Not everybody deserves to know exactly how you feel about certain things at all times.
Absolutely, and that's why social media is completely up to your discretion, which includes the people that you follow, which is why I can't stress enough, like, if you're going down your timeline and you're just getting off feeling drained, feeling empty, feeling more lonely than anything else, even though they're all your friends or followers, like, then it's time to declutter your timeline, your life, your space. Like, that's what it's all about for me, at least. Like, that's what brings me back.
Have people confronted you for muting them or blocking them?
Not muting because they don't know when they're muted. That's the beauty of
Okay.
it. So you can still be following them, but they just won't show up on your TL. But unfollowing, for the most part, I don't really unfollow friends like that. I'll like mute them if anything. If anything, I'll like unfollow celebrities that don't even care that I follow them. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's.
I hope I never get muted or blocked by you. I'm like,
dead.
be careful what I say.
No, you'll know because I'll be there creeping. You'll see me pop up. He's like.
How much time a day do you spend on Instagram?
Honestly, when quarantine first started, a lot. Like a lot. I was like on there all the time. But now I'm just kind of like trying to stay away from it. But I mean, it's hard. What else is there to do? Like,
Well, okay, maybe
not too much.
Maybe it's because I'm an old ass man, the old uncle of LATV. But like, this is me on Instagram.
Boom.
Oh, okay, cool. I mean, it's just pictures and maybe a couple videos. Because if I'm gonna
Yeah.
watch an interview, I watch it like on YouTube or something.
I love YouTube. I spend a
That's
lot
what.
of time
That's
on
what
YouTube.
I got YouTube running the entire time I'm at home. It's like just a talk show and talk. But we
Totally.
gotta go to a break. Okay, Jessica, we broke you in.
Yeah.
Which is better. I'm gonna have a couple comedians later in the show, and they might use another term, but I'm saying broke you in.
God.
You're now a veteran. Okay. Be prepared because we got craziness coming up, and I
Okay.
think you can handle it.
I have 3 brothers at home. I think I can handle this.
We'll be right back on the Zoo with Nikki and Jay Flo. We are back on the Zoo. We got Nikki P over here. We got Jay Flo over here. Now, has anyone ever called you Jay Flo?
Yeah, all in high school. That was like, how'd you know?
So this just brought it back. Cause I mean, I like making the name.
Even
like
on
the little-
MySpace, that was my thing.
What high school did you go to?
Bishop Montgomery in Torrance.
In Torrance. So that's a Catholic school.
Catholic school.
I went to a Catholic school too. Belen
Catholic.
Jesuit. You?
You guys
Yeah,
had
St. Clair's.
uniforms?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Did
Same.
you like your uniforms?
What was the name of your school?
St. Clair's
And where?
in Staten Island, New York.
Okay, cool. I had to wear shirt and tie. It was an all-boys school.
Oh, I could not.
Yeah. it was
Oh,
too
all
much.
boys?
Yeah, it was all boys.
I would have
school.
loved that.
I know you would. I gotta tell you something though. I like that. I'll tell you why. We had like a sister school, and in high school I had girls that I hung out with, and I had girlfriends and stuff. So I got to hang out with chicks after school and on the weekend. It was nice going to school and not worried about what I look or if I have snot on my nose or
Okay.
if I'm not really like feeling like I got my game on. I can wait till after school. We'll meet up and then we can hang out and I'll be mentally
You
prepared.
have a refresher. You can freshen
I
up
could
after
freshen up a
school.
little bit, because I'm sure in high school, did you get up early to get ready?
I'm gonna be straight up with you. No, I really didn't start doing my makeup probably till like even college because I was like a soccer player, like tomboy soccer player. Like I played college soccer and everything.
Really? Where?
USC.
And what happened?
And then I played 1 year, and then I was like, you know what? Sports is cool, but I like radio. I like music. I grew up I love like the music industry. So I only played 1 year there. But up until that point, I'm telling you, like the way my dad raised me, it was all about wake up, run. Like my dad wakes up every morning at 3 a.m. to go run.
My dad wakes up like at 4 a.m. So he beat my dad, but my
Yeah.
dad's I'm not a morning person.
Okay.
I sleep till the last possible minute. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? But I played sport. I played football in high school, so I still go on my hikes. I noticed you have a lot of hiking posts, which is really cool because I love running. You know, the mountains all over LA. That's your thing?
That's your thing too, no?
Yeah, I don't do I'm gonna start posting the hikes so that I can start matching your hikey posts.
Okay.
Because you got like a bunch of hikey posts, which is good. Don't take it. You're taking
I'm
like, what are you trying to say,
wait,
bro?
Am I basic? I'm like,
No.
Are you calling me basic?
No,
or not?
listen, there's nothing basic about you. You're very unique. But I think I need to start sharing some of the things. Like, you gave me some ideas like about social media. Like, because I'm
Okay.
actually not that social media savvy or actually that involved. But I think maybe I should start letting people know what I do in my life. Like I run a lot and I run through trails and I smoke poppy, so maybe I should show the joint before and then I go run.
Puff, puff, pass.
Do you smoke? You can say it.
I actually don't.
Because your dad would kill you.
Yeah, and I'm more like I like to take a little shot here
Good,
and there.
a little mezcal.
Yeah,
What's
a little
your drink of
mezcal.
choice?
That's more my vibe, huh?
Tequila?
I'm more of a whiskey.
Me
Well,
too.
look at this woman.
I'm more of a whiskey.
I like whiskey neat.
Okay.
Yeah.
What a
Whiskey neat. No,
gentleman.
I kind of like old fashions or I like at least an ice cube. But I see you as a very feminine, womanly woman.
Really?
But at the same time, you have this little masculine streak. You do the
Oh, yeah.
sports and
Oh,
you got the
yeah.
whiskey. Don't tell me that you drink it neat like this guy.
I drink it straight. También shots.
Really?
just
You don't want to
shots.
put some ice in the whiskey?
Not really.
You know, because I like when the ice cubes water down a little bit.
Oh,
Just
yeah. It makes it a
of
little
water.
bit less
Yeah,
like.
a little bit of, I actually learned adding water to my drink. So like I'll get like.
Oh, that's smart.
I'll do a vodka drink, and not because vodka drinks are easy, but like I'll actually give me a splash of water. You know what I'm saying? Like so, I like vodka and orange juice. I know it's basic. I know truly
Right,
basic. It's like
yeah.
high school, but some
What's
fresh.
next? A Shirley Temple?
But hey,
You
maybe.
can have a little strawberry in there.
Maybe. But no, fruits and vodka always go good.
Yeah.
Kombucha and vodka.
Yes.
But I always tell the bartender, half as much juice as you normally put, and then the rest water. And they're like, what? The half as much juice as you normally put, and then just splash of water. Oh, okay.
Do you do that for the hangover? So you're not
that part.
Less sugar. Honestly, now, because I'm trying to cut down sugar, now everything tastes too sweet to me the way they make it.
Really?
So just like half a little bit. When I get my coffee, light liquid sugar at the McDonald's.
Okay.
McDonald's is a sponsor of us, I think. So, and if they're not, they should be.
Sponsor.
the Mick Cafe.
I like my iced coffee, light liquid sugar, no cream.
Wow.
What do you think about that?
I like mine just black.
Damn.
But I'll put some leche in there. No?
Black?
Café con leche.
They-
Why not? But speaking of vodka, I can't do vodka anymore.
Why?
Just because college, like, after I stopped playing sports, I got like straight to work. But I joined a sorority for like 1 or 2 years. I dropped because I just couldn't do it anymore. But just the memories off like the cheap vodka, like
Yeah.
Prestige.
Georgie?
But you can't have
Is
cheap
it
vodka.
Prestige? Huh?
I can't cheap. It has to be good vodka by drink.
Yeah.
It cannot be cheap vodka.
When I was in college, I used to drink Georgie,
Oh
which
my
is
gosh.
like gasoline.
Wow.
Yeah, I can
No, I
smell
can't,
it now.
When it comes to alcohol, because I'm not that big of a drinker, I can't drink cheap alcohol anymore.
Yeah,
It's,
no.
it has to be because you feel it. You know what I'm saying?
You feel it the next
Yeah.
day, huh?
Do you drink wine?
I like a little wine.
A little glass of
I
wine,
like a little wine
some steak,
for the night.
medium
Filet
rare.
mignon.
I hope you're doing it. Don't get well done.
I want to be
don't
honest
eat
with you.
steak.
I don't really know what the difference is. Like, like wait.
Okay, just because I know you don't like being basic, because I've noticed that's like a thing with you.
Okay.
When you go and you eat a steak, and
Okay.
you do have like this little thing where you like masculine whiskey foods, but you're like a woman, like a woman. You're gonna be like,
Okay.
and I want you to do this when you order because you have amazing nails. By the way,
bring my steak medium rare.
periwinkle, that's the color.
This one, right? How did you know? I'm like, how did you know?
How do you know this? They match my
There's
eyes.
so many options, ladies. Y'all can relate. When you look at the options, you're just like, dude.
But back to the steak, order it medium rare. First of all, you gotta have a little bit of blood in the middle.
Do
can't,
you?
Yeah, well done. No, we're not kids here. You
Okay.
can't have it well done.
I'm
you gotta
taking
taste that.
Okay.
And by the way, I've been cursing a lot this show. Don't do it. We're gonna have to bleep it out.
I was gonna
Eddie,
say, am I able to
bleep
do
out.
that?
No, Eddie. I'm talking to the editor, by the way. Bleep me out. But leave me talking to you because I think the audience loves it when I talk to Eddie.
Yeah.
Because he misses everything I tell him.
He's a
Does
man of
Eddie ever
mystery.
come out on camera?
Never, but we're gonna bring him out.
I
He's
think
really
you
funny.
should bring him out.
Yeah, we need to.
He's
Eddie,
really funny.
He's
He has
like the Wizard of
gloves
Oz.
And the woods. Yeah, he's covered him, so he's really like COVID scared. So he has
Okay.
the mask. He's covered here. He has the goggles and he has mask.
It's like the flight attendants. You know how
Yes.
they have like the whole mask and
Yes.
stuff?
It's
Have you been?
crazy.
I just flew Volaris.
Are you giving us the 1 minute? Okay, we have 1 minute left. Tell us about your radio career. Like you're
Okay.
talking about obviously the sob story about losing your the thing, but you're gonna get right back. Are you in any radio right now?
I'm not in radio right now, but I started by like my sophomore year in college, like just jumped straight into Radio Disney and then worked at Power 106, which is a hip hop station out here, and I was producing like the night show, and then I was like the board op, so you run like all the controls,
Wow.
and then from there, I don't
You
know.
actually
it's-
worked. You know Mando Fresco?
Yeah, he was my co-host.
Okay, he worked with. Oh, really?
On the morning show at Cali,
Okay,
and then
we're
I
gonna
moved to
bring that
nights.
up. Okay, cool. Because I met him here working at LATV. He got to start here.
Yeah.
Yeah. We used to work on a
love
couple shows together.
Mondo. That's my
LATV Live.
brother.
Awesome. You know Chuy Martinez?
Of course, for years.
Yeah, I've had him on the show a couple times too. I like Mando better than Chuy, and you can tell Chuy I said that.
I'll tell him.
All right, what do we got after? We got Jose Hernandez, the astronaut, coming up right after the break. And Jessica Flores is holding it down. Nikki Perez, I would call you Nikki Perez.
I'll
Nikki
take it.
Perez is holding it down too. He's Nikki. And you know what? Eddie, our editor, has his job cut out for him this show because we're just letting them go. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Bleep,
right.
bleep, bleep. We'll be right back. We are back on the zoo. We got J-Flo in the house. We got Nikki P holding it down over there. We got our social distancing intact.
You see this?
6
You
feet.
see this?
We can't even touch. Look at that.
Like, look at
She's got her
this.
periwinkle.
Even with my long nails.
So coming up, I interviewed this guy named Jose Hernandez, the first
Okay.
Latino up in space, astronaut. All right, holding it down.
Okay.
You know, he went up to the space station. Like, dude, you're gonna see in the interviews pictures of him. He's in, he has a special seat because he's the engineer. So he's the guy that has to make sure the space shuttle that they were in at the time, because he was still in the space shuttle, he was the last space shuttle trip, that it works.
Oh my gosh.
He's the guy. So you have a Mexican on the space shuttle when it breaks down, yo.
Vámonos.
That space shuttle breaks down, you got a Mexican engineer, a Mexican
Let's
scientist.
go.
So I know that obviously you're an astronaut, and you want to talk to us a little bit about some of the things that you learned in training to be an astronaut and on your mission to the International Space Station, right? And how you can use some of that training to talk to us about how to handle the lockdown, the quarantine, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Before we get there, I want our audience to learn a little bit more about you. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became an astronaut.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I come from a migrant farm working family, and my parents are from Mexico, so I'm first generation here. And I was born here in the U.S. There's 4 of us in our family. 2 of us were born here, 2 in Mexico. Only reason why I was born here is because I was born during the harvest months. It wasn't until my 2nd grade teacher, Miss Young, came home to our house when I told her we were leaving for Mexico for yet another 3 months. And I asked her for 3 months worth of homework, that she finally came to our house. And since I'm the youngest of 4, she had my older siblings in her class, so I guess 4th time was the charm. She came and she kind of read the riot act to my parents and said, look, you have bright kids, and the only way they're gonna do well is if they stay in one place. And so we made Stockton, California our home base after that.
Amazing.
And then a lot of people say, okay, well, how did the interest of becoming an astronaut come about? Well, I was 10 years old when I got to watch the very last Apollo mission, Apollo 17.
Wow.
It was December 1972. You could picture a 10-year-old boy holding rabbit ear antennas for better reception for dear life, watching astronaut Gene Cernan walk on the surface of the moon. And man, I was hooked. When I saw that, I said, that's what I want to be. And ever since then, I was gunning to become an astronaut.
Now, what did you study in college? And did you know that you were going to be an astronaut when you were studying, I think, engineering was one of your degrees?
Exactly. I knew I had to go into the science fields. And one of the temptations, is to say, okay, I'm going to be an astronomer because they study the stars, right? But I was more pragmatic, more practical. I said, I want to make sure I have a job after I graduate. And I don't know where astronomers work, And so I figured if I become an engineer, I could get a job anywhere. And so I decided to get into electrical engineering. And then I knew that I needed to get a graduate degree if I was going to be competitive. So I went from a small private university here in Stockton, University of the Pacific. The only reason why I went here is because I could still live at home and not pay room and board. And so it ended up being cheaper than a UC school. And then after finishing there, I transferred over. I went on to UC Santa Barbara for my graduate degree. And then that's when I started working at Lawrence Livermore Lab, and then started saying, okay, now I gotta do other things to make myself more marketable to NASA. And I started applying as soon as I was eligible to apply. As soon as I got my graduate degree, started applying. But then every year I would say, why didn't they select me? I would compare myself with the other successful candidates that got selected and ask myself a very basic question: what do they have that I don't have? And so that would be, most of them were pilots. So I invested in becoming a pilot and took flight lessons and became a pilot. Another year, I noticed that they were all scuba diver rated. And I said, well, I guess I got to get scuba divers. So I would drive every weekend from Stockton, 2-hour drive to Monterey, California. And then I got scuba, I got basic certified, I got advanced certified, I got scuba rescue, scuba master. I want to make sure NASA knew I knew how to scuba dive, all right? I would have done the same thing with flying, but it's too expensive to learn how to fly a jet. So I stopped at a small airplane because I just couldn't afford it. But I kept flying and got more experience in flying. And then the third thing I think that really tipped the scale was that I was working at Lawrence Livermore Lab, and they were looking for scientists to go work in Russia at the nuclear facilities of the Russians up in Siberia, and to help the Russians take control of their nuclear stockpile, because that was the time when the former Soviet Union broke apart. And now we had this Russian Federation that wanted help controlling their nuclear material. And so they came to the US, the State Department came to the national labs because we deal with nuclear material. And they wanted scientists to go out there and help the Russians. And so no one wanted to go. But man, I raised my hand. I said, put me in, coach, I'll go. And I didn't do it because I wanted to get to know Siberia in the middle of winter, believe me. The reason why I did it was because I had read in the newspaper that the US and the newly formed Russian Federation had just signed an agreement to build what was going to be the International Space Station. So it didn't take a rocket scientist to figure out, even though I was one, but it didn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that we were going to be working with the Russians up in space. You know, we had done a little bit with the Soyuz Salyut missions, but this was going to be, no kidding, we were going to build a station together. So I said, if I take this job, man, I'm going to have a skill set that very few other aspiring astronauts have. Experience, gone to Russia, experience working with the Russians. And then I told my boss, can I take Russian language lessons? And he said, yeah, knock yourself out. So я понимаю по-русски язык. I learned Russian. And then all of a sudden, that's when NASA started calling and said, hey, we're interested in you. And so after 11 rejections,
wow,
you know, I got selected the 12th time.
After the break, we'll be back on the zoo with Mr. Chuy, a.k.a. Jesus Garcia, the sweetest guy on Instagram. All right, we're back on the zoo with my peeps, J Flo, Nikki P.
I'm gonna say yes.
Do you know who Mr. Chuy is on Instagram?
Mr. Chuy?
Yeah.
No,
He's on his.
today?
He does these. He's like a sweet guy. He does all these little sketches. They're all like
Maybe
you know,
I do.
Like they're all like Latino. He just makes fun of his mom and his tia and his all. It's so funny. Anyway, he's really sweet.
Well, the first thing I have to notice is, okay, two things. Everybody knows your hair, but I just noticed how you deal with your hair. You have an amazing hat collection behind you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, I collected hats for a long time.
But you don't wear them a lot. You know, you let the hair grow.
Yeah, because what it was I used to not have long hair, and so I just wear hats, backwards, forward, all types of hats for everything. But then eventually I grew out my hair, and I was like, you know what, I can't cover the hair no more with the hat, so I just gotta hang them up and just make them look pretty, you know?
Listen, dude, I love your videos. I've been following them for a little bit. And, you know, I've been meaning to hit you up to get you on the zoo, but because of this whole crisis, we had to stop doing production in the studio for a little bit. How are you handling this whole COVID-19 lockdown?
Yeah, man, it's definitely, it's hard, you know, especially with you know, the quarantine, all the news hitting everywhere. Especially the parents are the ones that are mostly freaking out. But I've been managing to hold up, you know. I've been trying to create more content for people to continue, you know, at least getting a few laughs here and there on this crazy crisis that's going on. And I've just been trying to produce as much as I can on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, everywhere, you know?
How do you think, like Latinos, specifically Mexican Americans, how do you think that they differentiate handling the lockdown versus other communities?
Well, for starters, my parents are gardeners, so they've been affected in ways where they can be out working for sure because there's a lot of police and cops just looking to stop any landscapers. So they're at home. Also, they're always on Facebook, and there's always news everywhere being shared across groups and family. So anything, and then also with at least my parents, with Latinos, is that if they hear something, they have to tell the next person to keep it going. But I don't know if it's just my parents, but my parents exaggerate. So if there's a video they saw, they'll exaggerate it onto the next person, but then that next person is going to exaggerate it even more to their own way of seeing it to the next person, where eventually it's going to come back to us, and then it's going to be even worse because it's somehow evolved, and then I have to hear it, and then
it becomes a sketch on one of your platforms.
And then it becomes a sketch.
Dude, you really, I mean, some of the sketches are really funny, man. So what are you like some of your aunt's favorite nephews, but then the ones that are being made fun of, they don't like you as much anymore?
So I don't want to say I'm like their favorite. I think everyone's like pretty equal, but I don't have anyone in the family that detests any of my comedy or gets offended, because everyone knows it's all for laughs, you know. It's not take it personal or anything. And then if they can relate somehow with a little bit of what I'm putting out, they get a little kick out of it as well, you know. So
well, look, man, I think that you nailed down the Mexican family, like especially the tias and the primos, because I think that's one thing maybe other communities aren't as tight, so maybe they're not as close to their like aunts and uncles or their cousins as like Latinos are. You know, I grew up in a Cuban household in Miami, so we definitely had the big family too, and you know, you grew up with your cousins, whether you liked it or not. Like, you know, you had to seek, and you know, they were beating each other up and stealing each other's food, and you know, you knew your aunts, you knew your uncles. There was a crazy uncle. There was the aunt, the tia that always wanted a kiss, and you didn't want to give her a kiss all the time. So you really nailed that in your sketches, man. That's your big inspiration, like your big family?
yeah, man, my family, bro. You know, family is everything, especially in a Latino, you know, in the culture. The family's always first. So with that being said, there's always events going on, and every event in your life, family just happens to be there. So there's always something to relate to when doing anything, even if it's having to eat chips. You know, there's always something that happens everywhere that Latinos relate to somehow, some way. Even if it's just adding hot sauce to chips, I can guarantee you at least like 50% of the whole Latinos put chile on their chips just because they want to. You know, so everyone can relate somehow just because, you know, we live it. And yeah, it's always something.
Tell me a little bit more about yourself. Like, are you studying acting? Like, how did you start doing the sketches? And at what point did you realize, wow, this is growing and getting an audience?
So I started back in high school. Well, actually, the interest started back in middle school, where YouTube was very, very huge, and everyone was doing YouTube videos and billions of videos. So I started on YouTube just to have fun as a little kid, and then when Vine came out, that's when I started doing more some Vines. And Vines, it was a little easier to get your content out there, since all it takes is that one video to give you the push. So you keep it going. And then Instagram video rolled out, and then you got to take advantage of the opportunity. So I did that. And then once I got my first 100,000 on Instagram, that was in my college years. And then that's when I realized that, okay, it's getting real serious. So then I started pushing more. I was full-time student. I was trying to do it all, and eventually it became an actual career. And I got my degree at Sonoma State University, my bachelor's in business, and I hung it up with pride, and I just continued doing my videos. You know,
amazing. That's awesome. And do you get recognized? Have you gotten recognized yet on the street?
Oh yeah, it happens all the time.
What do they say to you?
Yeah, man. They just say, "Hey, Chuy, man, what's up, bro? where's your mom? Or like, oh man, you know. And it's funny because it's not just Latinos; it's all types of cultures that recognize me in the streets. You know, from A to Z, and they all say they somehow relate into their own culture and lives, and they tell me how how we're not so much different. How in their household this happens. So it's funny how in your household this happens, in our household. In our household, the same thing happens just in this way, and somehow people could just relate, and that's what they love to see, their lives on the screen.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
When we come back from the break, a couple of my friends, let's see if they behave, all right? They like to bust my chops, all right? His name, Ari Mannis and Alex Ansoleaga will be right here on the Zoom.
So won't you spin a bottle, spin it right around, but aiming towards me now. Yeah, why don't you come and spin the bottle? Push it 1 degree, so it won't bother me. 'Cause I just want to be your supermodel, hey, be a supermodel, hey, be a supermodel.
Hey, does that guy look straight to you?
He looks straight and white.
So won't you spin the bottle, spin it right around, but aiming towards me now. Yeah, why don't you come and spin the bottle? Push it 1 degree, so it won't bother me. 'Cause I just want to be your supermodel.
All right, we just saw a hilarious short video sketch from a couple of friends of mine. They actually live in my building, by the way. Alex Ansoleaga and Ari Mannis.
Hey, all right.
Hi.
What's up, guys?
What's happening?
And Nikki Paris over here. So, Nikki, you perform comedy. Have you seen Ari Mannis
do.
do his thing?
I'm a
He
fan.
hangs out with Theo Von. Are they buddy
I
buddies?
love the you guys like Tia and Tamara in some
Have you
ways.
seen us
guys,
together?
Yes, I have.
Why? That's weird. Where were you?
I've seen you guys together on shows at the Comedy Store, and I just see the love that you leave each other in the comments
All right, thanks for
section. That's how
watching.
you know that it's real.
All right.
Oh, that's
Thank
true.
you.
He was trying to lean you to do like a creepster story, but you didn't bite. You didn't take the bite.
No.
You didn't bite on the bait.
What did you want me
guy.
to say? That I was watching you guys with the peephole at the
I'm
Comedy
just
Store in
making
the
sure.
bathroom?
I'm just making sure it was PG.
How have you seen them?
It was through a glory hole. I had my eye on.
So Alex Ansoleaga, a good friend of mine. We're both Cubans from Miami. We've
Yes,
known
we
each
are.
other for a long time. We hate each other's guts, but we also love each other. But we
Wait,
hate
you
each
guys
other's
are
guts.
Cuban?
I love the
Yes, you know that we're
people,
Cuban. That's why you grew the mustache. Wait, sit back down. This is a Latino alternative television.
I
What
know.
were you trying to pass off, by the way, with the mustache?
Just that I'm an ally.
Before the two of you started teaming up on stuff, you were doing stuff with Amir K. You did a funny video called Hollywood Said No on Funny or Die. Don't act surprised. You're being like, don't be a thespian,
I'm listening to you. I don't know.
Don't be
how,
a
do, how do
thespian.
other people have conversations
Don't be
here?
a
Do they say,
thespian.
oh, hey, no, I'm listening. This is called listening.
And then-
Nobody wrote anything here, by the way. I'm 100% listening.
No, we had no prep. Ari's been making a bunch of funny videos as well, and then you guys started teaming up. Talk to me about like some of the videos that you guys have been making together, and the one where we just saw where you guys beat up a straight white guy, which is hilarious.
Well, we're neighbors, so and we're both really lazy. So we can literally just walk next door and work together. I don't need to call anyone. I don't need to meet up with. I don't need to drive anywhere. I could literally roll out of bed, knock on his door. Hey, do you want to work on something?
And I'm like, get away from my door.
And then I come in anyway.
What are some of the what do you guys try to do with your videos? I mean, do you want a certain section of the population to find it funny and another section of the population to maybe be offended, and then that population that found it funny, they laugh at the people that get offended? I mean, are you guys playing, am I overthinking the
Yeah,
videos?
I don't
I
know
wish
what
I
your
could
goals
say-
are.
yeah.
I want a girlfriend. I want
Right.
a girl, a beautiful woman to watch that and go, he's cute and funny.
Yeah.
Hit me up, DM me on Instagram maybe, whatever the proper way to do it these days is, and then I find true love.
Has that
and I
happened
move
yet?
out of the building. No, it's never happened.
Similarly, my goal is
Yeah.
for somebody to find Ari. It's the same, and that's why I do the video.
To get them off your back a little bit.
That's my dream too now.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness gracious.
So if you're out there, if you have a grandson or granddaughter that's watching this, maybe let them know about our videos and about me.
yeah, and
A grandson or granddaughter? What,
Yeah.
what age group are we looking for?
listen,
here?
it's a new date.
I don't know. I'm looking for a young buck.
How old are the people watching this show?
We kind of hope they're 20, but they might be 15
Then
and
maybe
40.
it's one of them.
Okay,
And also one of them.
okay.
Or two of them.
Both of them.
I'd actually like two girlfriends.
In your whole life?
No, now.
Oh.
I want two
You
right
have
now.
two girlfriends. Oh, you want
Yeah,
two.
I've never had any in my whole life yet.
Ari, you open up for Theo Von.
I opened up for Theo Von. I opened up for Francisco Ramos, who used to be
Who's
on
been
the
on the
show.
show. He's a good friend of ours.
Yeah, Pauly Shore, the Weasel.
Andrew
I
Santino.
love Pauly
Andrew
Shore.
Santino.
I noticed you guys are leaving
Michael
somebody out, but
Costa.
we'll talk about that off camera. A big name. There's a big name missing from this roster that you're
Well,
putting
it's
out.
sensitive times.
I know it is. But talk to me about Theo Von, because the thing about Theo Von, and I've actually had some communication with him. He was supposed to be on the show a couple times where he says he's going to do it and then he just doesn't answer the email.
He will never do the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it because we smell weird or because...
I mean, I think we're about the highest level of talent you're going to get on this show.
The show's over. Done. We're done.
Yeah.
Get out of here. No, but Theo Von, I've actually have because I have his email, and he will say, "Okay, I'm gonna do it," but then
He's
he
not
doesn't
going to do
answer.
it. Yeah, he's not going to
But
do it.
is that like? Is he like? What is he like behind the scenes? Because he seems so nice on stage. when
He's
you
a
think
really
coach.
nice guy, but you know, he's a millionaire now. He's a successful theater act comedian, and he still says yes to everyone, and then behind
their
the
face.
scenes, to their face, and then behind the scenes,
That's what it
unless you're
is.
gonna pay him a pretty penny, which I can see here that you're not.
Ari,
then
any more? Listen, one more insult, and we're just gonna have to like wrap the show and just interview Alex. But what I want is Theo Von. You know that his dad is Nicaraguan. He doesn't.
Yes.
He doesn't like rep the whole Latino thing as much as
he has a tan body though. If
know.
you look at him without a shirt, you could see the Nicaraguan in him. And I
didn't even know that.
We spent a lot of time together, so I have seen his body, and I could tell you, yeah, he's definitely Nicaraguan.
Maybe he
I
could
can
be one
attest
of your
too.
two
I
girlfriends.
also feel like his body takes in the sun.
Yeah.
In a,
Yeah, it
in a
holds the
different
sun.
way.
He
than
He needs to
perhaps
now.
a Thurston.
It's a Latinx, time. I'm even saying. I'm getting used to saying Latinx. I used to say Latinx. Did you say Latinx?
He has a Spanish-speaking app on his phone that he does every day. He's getting pretty good.
Okay. So there's no funny story about him that you can give us that's different from what we've heard.
A funny story about Theo Von.
Yeah.
One time, right before we were about to go on stage, he had to urinate, and the host was calling him up, so he quickly peed in a bottle and put it right there by the stage,
then
and no
somebody
one else
drank it.
knew but me and him that no one drank it.
Thank God.
Was there any
Luckily,
drip marks when he got on stage?
as far as I know, he made it. He made it.
You
okay.
guys made a short or a pilot where he comes out naked at the end. Whose idea was that?
Whose idea was it?
to get naked.
To be naked? It was Ari's idea.
I
to
always,
be naked,
I just like
actually.
to
It
be
was-
naked. I'm a free bird. I like to breathe,
Go ahead.
and I like to show off that body.
We have
to get
one, do we have one minute left? We have 1 minute left. You can go ahead and take off your clothes here.
Are you serious?
Yeah, but I'm telling you right now, to get you back for your previous comments, the moment that you take off your clothes, we're all gonna laugh. Are you ready for that?
I'm used to it.
Okay. Are we ready for
Undo those tassels really quick. Get comfortable.
Nikki,
know-
have you seen Ari before?
I do. I'm a fan.
What do you think about his
Fan of
dry,
yours, too.
like calm delivery?
I like it because I think that you're not afraid to say what you think. And you ruffle some feathers. I was watching your set last night about if you were president
Oh, on the Laugh Factory.
on the Laugh Factory.
Did
Yeah,
you do the
I got
thing
in
with
trouble
no,
for
with no
that.
cast or with no audience?
No, I refuse to do any shows with no audience.
Are you
It
doing any of the
takes-
virtual shows?
No, I refuse. It's a disgusting, bad form of comedy that's ruining stand-up comedy. And if you don't have an audience, don't ask me to do your show because I'll
Okay, we're gonna actually continue. We're gonna find out more about comedy in the era of COVID with Alex Ansoleaga and Ari Mannis. Stay tuned. You're watching The Zoo.
Hey, what's going on, you guys? I'm Jessica Flores. This is The Zoo, and we are back with Alex and Ari. What's going on, you guys?
happening?
So
This is fun.
I heard this rumor that you guys all live in the same building. How is that?
Got to the building first, and little by little, I got everybody out and moved the worst people in.
And how do you do that?
Another fun
Okay.
fact about
And
our
that's
building
what sold it.
is the landlord's in his, or he was in his 90s. He's since died.
He's dead now.
But
So you have no
he-
landlord. Y'all are just running around.
We think we have a
It's literally
landlord. We
a
just
zoo.
put a check in the
writing
box
checks.
like every other month. So during COVID, we don't have comedy shows anymore. Like, what do you guys have any recon or information? Is what I would say. Do you have any information as to when comedy's gonna start up and what is it gonna be like?
I've been doing secret shows in my living room
I've been to
during the COVID.
Downstairs.
So
But you're not getting paid, right?
we have a tip bucket. I made like $11 the last
He does
show.
this on
I
Airbnb.
got like 8.
Oh, swear.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
you do it
so
in front of like your
no
friends?
masks allowed. We break all the rules.
Okay.
And we're just trying to, kill one person at a time.
Can I
Okay.
come?
Now, before COVID, you were doing them for a while. What you would post them on Airbnb, and he stuffs we do because we have the same
Craigslist
apartment.
free stuff as
Right.
well. I'd say free comedy show on Craigslist free stuff. Get people.
And 50 people would show up to his apartment. And I just hear laughing downstairs, and I go downstairs, and there's 50 people and a
Okay.
stage doing comedy.
Most of them weren't homeless. They would come in and they would just
Okay, how did they
behave
get on
themselves and
Craigslist?
enjoy the show.
Some
Word
of them were,
spreads.
of course. That's an important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them were, of course, homeless and just wanted free beer.
Why not? I'm
Yeah, they would
through.
come on, they'd load up on beer and snacks and
Yeah.
they'd leave.
I need to see this for myself. I'm
Well,
gonna need an invite.
I think you're gonna get an invite, but you can
Well, just
wear a
actually
mask if
check
you
out
want.
Craigslist free
No,
stuff.
no
You
mask.
never know when there'll be the next posting.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna check
Yeah,
it
you
out.
could either subscribe to our social media or check Craigslist free stuff.
All right, now we know. I'm gonna be there.
Alex, how do you think comedy's gonna change after 2020? Because it seems 2020 has
No.
been such an absurd year.
It's been a very hard time. I mean, to give you an idea of how bad COVID's been for comedy, you got the two of us on this show right now. Talk about scraping the bottom of the barrel. This is where comedy is in 2020.
Oh my God.
We're gonna be big stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
And
are.
this is gonna be
You know what-
Theo Von's
video.
opener and
guys, this
Theo
is a
Von's
turning
opener's
point.
opener.
This is a turning point in your career. Like this is the
might
thing
be.
that's gonna catapult
He
you.
doesn't understand. He
Bruh.
doesn't understand that this might turn into something.
This is gonna come in your documentary.
If
one
enough
day.
people die, we will be at the top of the comedy list.
Yes.
And you'll remember this evening.
If enough
That's what
people
I'm
die
saying.
and get me tooed, you're gonna be at the top of the
Dude,
list.
yeah, that's the other one.
That's the more realistic thing that's
Yes.
gonna happen.
Or
I'm just
die
waiting.
and get me too.
Maybe this
Cancel
would be a good
everybody.
time to cancel everybody that's not us.
Okay.
Or
To
cancel.
start listing
well,
them.
you need to find a scandal they've been a part of.
It
Start
doesn't matter if there
canceling.
is or not.
Yes,
Just start the
good.
rumor.
Jessica, coach them. So we come up with a hashtag to take down your rivals, and then just start going one by one by one by one.
Yeah.
Alex has a great bit about face, okay? Because he has a face.
Like his face looks like or
Not like an actual, but like, like a jerk. He has like
like
a
it.
jerk
I look
face.
friendly now, though, I think.
What
I
do you
took
think?
that way too literally.
There's an old bit I don't do anymore. I feel like my disposition has changed. I was different on the inside.
Yeah, I've never heard
And it was coming through on the outside.
Okay. So
Okay.
But you can see now there's nothing wrong with me.
No, yeah, totally.
I like watching the audience when he's up on stage.
Okay.
Because some people get really triggered by him. Not his jokes, by the way, because they're not even listening. They're just, as soon as he walks on stage, they're triggered.
They just look at his face and they're
They're
triggered?
pissed off
He
in
has
the
a lot
moment
of
he walks
passion.
on.
He has a lot of passion.
Horrible. That's horrible.
Right?
Oh
It's
my
called
God.
pasión in Spanish.
Hey,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's a good thing. At least people will be like engaged. When you trigger someone, it could be for the good or bad. They'll stay engaged with you.
God,
Isn't that
yes,
what you
yes.
want? Isn't
I
that what
suppose.
you want people to pay attention to whatever you're saying? Like the last thing you want as a comedian is to be on stage and nobody even looking at what you're saying.
You would
Oh,
think
dude.
so. I just want people to like me.
I rather
Like,
get
that's all-
booed off the stage. I rather get booed off than get a flat reaction.
Really?
I either want them laughing or booing me. One of
Have
the
you ever
two.
have you ever been booed off stage?
No, but I got into a fist fight one time.
Why?
Some lady got offended at my joke. She heckled me. I cussed her out, and then her husband got mad at me. To sum it up,
Oh my
and he
God.
jumped on stage or you jumped down?
it was right after the set. He came up to me. I thought it was to say good job. Turned out it was to pour wine over my head.
Oh my gosh.
Were
So I
you
hit
there?
him.
Oh, well, I'm divorced now.
Huh?
It was me. Twas I that poured. You missed
Oh.
Have you ever gotten in a fight after a set?
it. Not a physical alter. Well, actually, I've been in fights during my sets. Actually,
You've gotten in arguments on stage, right?
I've
I've
been a
gotten
long
in
time.
arguments on stage when I've tried like some of your open mics and stuff, but I got it with you. Like, okay, one thing that I'm pissed off at this guy, he doesn't follow anyone on Instagram. He has 0 followers. And he asked me to follow him. I'm like, I'm not gonna follow you. Not
Oh,
only
you
do you
follow
not
0
follow
people, but you have hella
he
followers.
follows
I don't follow
nobody. He
anyone.
thinks he's Kanye
No,
West
I
or
don't.
Donald Glover or something.
I don't like that it's called followers. I still stalk people the old-fashioned
Yeah.
way.
So okay, so you have to go in and search. That's so inconvenient, though, isn't it? Or no? Like you have to be like, okay, what's this person up to?
It's all I know.
It's all.
And then when I feel the time is appropriate, I stalk, and hopefully they're not private.
I like that.
Good. Well, but
An
what do you-
independent man.
But here's the way it started, okay? Because I was late to the Instagram thing. I can't do all these social media things. But as soon as I got on, I'm like, I think he said, "Oh, follow me," and then I went to go follow, but I noticed, well, he's not following me. And then and I'm like, it's even worse than that. He's not following anybody.
Wow.
Who the hell does he think he is?
In my defense, I don't believe that I ever asked you to follow me. I actually wouldn't follow
calling
me.
you
Don't
out.
follow me. Nobody should follow me. Follow at Ari Mannis,
Okay.
I'll take them.
at the zoo.
You're like, I'll follow you.
They
back.
make you money, you know. If you have enough followers, they pay you money.
Well, I don't care about your stinking money.
Yeah.
But isn't comedy? Aren't you guys kind of relying a lot on Instagram though? Like real talk. Don't you feel like right now that's kind of how you're still engaging with your audience? since
I'm
you can't
relying
really go
mostly
out?
on unemployment. But
Okay.
Instagram's nice.
Unemployment, sure.
Fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's that.
Jessica, you are so. Listen, I give you so much props. You're like, okay, where can we take this? What can we do? How can we handle
I'm like,
this?
let's take it this direction.
Yeah,
He's like,
true.
unemployment.
All right, we have 30
One
seconds.
quick announcement to
Go
make.
ahead.
I'm going to be now hosting the zoo from here on out, and I'm going to live in a van while I do it. So we'll see you
Van
every
life
week.
is a real thing.
I'm going to be
and
living in a
trying to do
van and
that.
hosting the zoo from here on out. I'm going to see you guys next week.
Okay, well, listen, you know what?
Hey.
I guess we're just going to have to call it a show. That's it. You've been watching The Zoo. Thank you for being here. Ari Mannis and Alex Ansoleaga, or should I say Ari Ansoleaga and Alex Mannis? How about that? I switched it up. Live with it.
right.
Live
There you
with
go.
it.
I'll
Well,
take
I'm
it.
with
I
it.
like it.
I'm with it. What about Jessica? By the way, Jessica was my favorite part of the show.
Jessica was amazing.
All the people behind the cameras, very nice and stuff.
Yes,
Umberto,
but-
I hate your guts.
Yeah, I know.
You're great.
Yes.
You go to hell.
Yes.
Thank you
Everybody
very
take
much.
care.
Thank you. Jessica, thank you. Your first show was amazing. Your
Thank
nails
you.
look great.
Thank you. I feel like I didn't do much. Thank you.
Amazing.
Hey.
All right. And Nikki Paris, who stepped out because we had the whole COVID regulation
Nikki.
thing. Nikki, you're
She was
amazing.
my second favorite.
Guys, we're going to put their Instagram things here. Even though Alex will not follow you, go ahead and follow him if you want to be charitable. And Ari Mannis will follow you back. That's why he has a lot of
Yeah,
followers.
I'll DM you too.
Exactly.
Hey,
that's
he's
good.
trying to
Yeah.
find his wife.
Do
Don't
not
forget.
DM him.
I might DM you.
Guys,
I didn't say I would.
check out their videos at Instagram at Ari Mannis. You can watch both of them. And we'll check out your new Salt Bay. Is that going to be on your Instagram?
It'll be.
It's there all right. It's
right
there
now.
right
At
now.
Alex and Soliaga. All right, guys. You've been watching The Zoo. Watch us next time. We'll be back.